Coming into the weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another college football convo with Stanford Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve, how you doing? Did you take your allergy medicine? I guess it's that time of year, even though Ty's keeping that shit tight-lipped.
I don't know if I'm on the same medication as Ty. I don't know if I'm in that tier. But yeah, the runny nose, dripping like a faucet season is here for sure.
Yes, it is, and we will survive. Okay, we will certainly get through it. But I've been vitamin C-ing to try to combat against this, and then all of a sudden we got a UConn-educated man coming over here saying that ain't doing nothing for you. That's actually hurting you. I don't like that one bit.
Just drink your water and get your rest.
Yeah, I understand. Ice and stim. I get it. We will certainly figure that out, okay? I will hammer the water. Let's talk about this weekend. We have the incredible opportunity to head down to Nashville and celebrate this Vanderbilt University football program that has obviously come through the ashes and now is a powerhouse in college ball, not just in the SEC. They're hosting Missouri. What are your thoughts on this game, and how should we be viewing it before heading down there?
Fired up to go down to Nashville. And after watching Vanderbilt for our lives, they had never been favored over an SEC-ranked team until last week. And now this week they're again. So after never being a favorite 2 weeks in a row, they're a favorite. After that impressive win over LSU, obviously Pavia is the story, the face of that team. He's fourth in the Heisman rankings now, around 10, 11-1. But you know, Missouri played their first road game last week, looked a little vulnerable, didn't run it as well as they have in their home games, still good against the run. Both these teams are top 12 against the run. So to me, it's whoever shuts down each other's run games. Pavi's has just been insane on third downs and keeping his offense on the field, and that was in full vision last week against LSU with him converting third downs, fourth downs. They're over 56% on third down, which is top 2 in the country, I believe. So that's the story to me, is what the defenses bring to this game and what should be a hotly contested ranked matchup in Nashville.
Tone, whenever Vandy LSU was on the board, Nick Saban said, I know, okay, that Vandy's good and they're favored for the first time in 575 games or whatever the case is. It is just hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that LSU is going to lose to Vandy. That's literally what Saban said. Saban said, I've just been around too long. I am sorry. I have respect for their team, yada, yada, yada. I just can't see it. This team, not only last year, obviously had a big-time run with the NIL transfer portal, they got even better this offseason. Feels like Vandy feels great. Now, they lose to Bama. Obviously, people are going to talk about that. But another opportunity to prove that they're for real, Tone. Is that what you're thinking as well?
Yeah, last week with LSU, I disagreed with Coach Saban. That was strictly because LSU does not have an offense at all, and I was favoring Vandy because Pavia is going to score points. They're going to get rushing yards. Steve talked about these two teams. Like, they both can stop the run, and they both can run the football. The difference here for me is Pavia over Pribula. And it's not that Bo Pribula is bad. Pavia is just him with a little bit more moxie in my mind. And Mizzou is definitely better than LSU in my mind because they can score points and LSU cannot. And the defense is really good. But I think the difference in this game, Steve talked about being in the top 5 in the Heisman race now, is Diego Pavia. And Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator of Vandy, it's his second year here. He came with Pavia, so second year for everyone in this offense down here. So I think they're going to continue to get better on offense, but Pavia is the difference for me.
AJ, special story in Nashville, dude, these last couple of years for this Vanderbilt team. It changes everything, literally. Like, they're talking about the projections and expected people that are going to come through game day, and obviously there's multiple sites visited and everything like that, and there's people in South Dakota State that are pissed off about us not going out there, and I just learned from the internet that it was actually 6 years ago this weekend that I had the opportunity to be the guest picker out there in South Dakota State. That place was fucking awesome. Go Big, go Blue, go Jacks. But down there in Vandy, obviously, anytime our show is mentioned as something that people want, it's a big deal. It's like, hey, this is the biggest game of the weekend. This is conversation about your program. This is spotlight of everything you're doing because of how the football team is. Last year could have been just a kind of a flash in the pan. Instead, they've continued to build on it. Great for the university, AJ. I think it's a beautiful thing when sports can do this for somebody or something.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, their team is awesome. I mean, it starts with Diego. We know that. It's unbelievable when you think about the impact that one player can have. And I understand, like, the others, there's studs all over the place. But when your quarterback is a guy that plays this well, but also has that kind of personality, I think that makes him very, very easy to root for. It's it's ridiculous if you think about the money that he has brought into that university just by being a great football player and seemingly a great person.
Now, Vandy, obviously good school, everything like that. Pavia alluded to that in his interview with us. Like, hey, everybody thinks you're like high academics, yada, yada, yada. He said, we're a gritty group down here. We are a gritty group. And their coach seems to be the perfect fit for the guy to be the head coach of this particular team. Ty has a question for you, Steve, as we wrap up this particular game.
Yeah, Steve, maybe this is out there and I just haven't seen it, but why isn't Clark Lea's name being mentioned for a lot of these like open jobs? You know, he's obviously got a pass with Elko. He was the DC at Notre Dame. I think people are finally starting to realize like, oh, wow, this guy is actually really good. I know he played at Vandy, but like, why isn't he right up there, you know, being mentioned for like the Florida job or the Penn State job or any of these other big jobs that might open up?
Well, I think with the Penn State job, Ty, they don't want to look at another Vanderbilt head coach coming.
Fair.
James Franklin came, and I think there's a little bad taste in their mouth right now there in Happy Valley. But no, I agree with you. I just think he's made it known how much he loves his school and what he's built there. I mean, people are going to bring back the old press conference. I think it was from 22 when he said the goal is to have the best football program in the country. And I think there's just there's a lot of stability. There's a lot of foundation he's built, you know, with the stadium being redone. And he's made it known that, I mean, you look at what Cignetti did in putting his boots on the ground and getting, you know, extension after extension. I think Clark Lea is more than happy to take one of those to stay at Vandy in a place that he loves so much.
You think about Dillingham at Arizona State, too. You kind of think the same thing. Like, this guy just loves the program, loves the area, loves everything about it. So there is still some, you know, love of program, love of sport happening in this massively business world. Because if, you know, some of these schools come in with an offer like, hey, $96 million was just paid by Indiana to Cignetti. So now there's a comp, like on what?
Yeah.
To not go to Penn State, what the deal is, you know? So if some of these places can't keep up with those big checks, push comes to shove, love the place, love the school. Do you love them? $30-40 million difference? Do you how much do you know? That's an interesting dynamic for a lot of these guys. And players, too, are having the same exact situation at a smaller level for the amount of money going different places. It's a wild time. Now, we had two undefeated SEC schools before this past weekend. Texas A&M now, the only undefeated SEC school. Ole Miss loses to Georgia. They got a big one this weekend, and so does Oklahoma. Your thoughts on this matchup, brother?
Yeah, I know AQ talks about leverage all the time, Pat, and we got a playoff leverage situation here with this looking like an elimination game for Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a little bit favorite. You see that 4.5. But the probability of these teams right now is below 50% to make the playoff. With a win, the numbers, the math, the analytics, whatever you want to call it, the stuff I can't comprehend, says both teams get over a 60% chance. Oklahoma's got a tougher remaining schedule, but this is a monster spot for Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, you know, being that close last week and then just getting it given to them in the fourth quarter. You know, they only had 3 possessions. I don't even think they had a first down in like 13 yards. It didn't go well. And you saw, we talked about last week about, you know, this game, the Georgia game against Ole Miss, and I talked about Georgia being more having more depth amongst the line of scrimmage. I felt like you saw that in Ole Miss. You know, they weren't the same team in the fourth quarter as they were the first 3 quarters. And on the other side, you got Oklahoma, who had to go to South Carolina to get a much-needed win. Mateer looked a lot better. The defense is as good as it gets in the country. So this is a test of good, I should say very good on very good. When you talk about Ole Miss's offense against that Oklahoma defense, that's the matchup that everybody wants to see. It's a matter of what Ole Miss defense looks like going on the road and going against Mateer, who got things back on track after looking rusty in that Red River game.
Tone, what are your thoughts on this matchup here being a playoff decider basically here going into week 9 of the college football season?
Yeah, I agree with Steve, especially for Oklahoma. They can't lose anymore because their schedule is still so hard going out. Ole Miss with 2 losses, if they lose this one, their schedule is actually pretty easy going down the stretch. Yeah. So I think they still may have a chance with 2 losses at the end of the year, depending on if it's an SEC championship game or not. But I love Oklahoma's defense, and this is by far the best defense that Ole Miss is going to be playing so far this season. They played LSU's defense, but it was at home. They scored 24 points, which was their lowest total of the year at that point. And Oklahoma last week for the first time all year ran the ball. They ran for 170 yards. Ole Miss has the 100th ranked rushing defense in the country. So with Mateer and a running game at Oklahoma with that defense, I tend to lean towards Oklahoma in this one.
Let's look at the Oklahoma Sooners schedule. It just got pulled up here by Bruce. They got Ole Miss, and then they got number down the stretch here. Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and then LSU. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, just because there's a number next to a team, does that mean they're actually good, or is there an SEC bias?
That's a good point.
You know, because the Alabama stat that they won 4 straight ranked games for the first time in history, I saw everybody from outside the SEC go, ranked teams. Yeah, they're ranked teams in this entire thing. So I think a lot of people are wondering who's who in this entire college football world that we're living in right now. But nonetheless, Oklahoma has a lot of opportunity to win their way back into the college football playoff conversation if they were to lose this game. But if they lose this game, they got a lot of potential L's around the corner as well for Venables.
Yeah, it's week 9, so I put a little bit more respect on those numbers now. It's not like that number that was next to Penn State before the season started. So I respect it a little bit more. But what do you think about the number next to Oklahoma, that -4.5, Steve? I guess it's for Steve and Tone. What do you think about that number? Good, or what do you think?
I thought it was good, and then I looked at this stat. Listen to this one. Top 10 teams are 2-15 against the spread when an underdog against a lower-ranked team. This was Ole Miss last week against Georgia, and that's them again this week. It's 0-6 this year when you look at that. Top 10 team as a dog to a lower-ranked team. Oklahoma versus Texas, Illinois versus Indiana, LSU against Ole Miss, LSU against Vanderbilt, Ole Miss last week against Georgia, and Texas at Ohio State. That's a trend that's not good being on the wrong side of. So that I like Tone's call there of the defense being at home and Oklahoma getting that ground game. They have some young guys, some freshmen on that offensive line that got it going against a good defense in South Carolina this year. So that makes me lean Oklahoma.
All right, let's go to the next game that we need to be watching this weekend. The slate, interesting. Okay, slate's interesting. We got a lot of good teams. We got a lot of good storylines. This weekend, not as many massive games, but ball will show up for us. And this game could be special. This game could be Texas A&M reminding everybody once again, like, hey, we are for real, dude. Like, every week that passes, that Notre Dame win looks better and better and better that they go into there with Texas A&M. Only undefeated team left in the SEC. They're taking on an LSU team with no offense, Steve. Is that the story of the game in your eyes?
Yeah, also the history. LSU is 12-2 against A&M. A&M has just not had much success against LSU at all. You go back to last year, that was the Marcel Reed coming out party where he ran all over that LSU defense. If A&M were to win this game, I would think they would be wary of a number 1 ranking, Pat. When you look at what that win is, that looks like now at Notre Dame, and now you go to LSU on a Saturday night in a place that's just been wretched to you in years past. I think it has all the goods. Marcel Reed, those receivers against that great defense of LSU is an awesome matchup. You got everything you want in this game as a top-ranked team coming in, as a small favorite against a team that's great at home, hasn't lost at home this year. And the key to me is Marcel Reed in that offense, because in these 2 road games they've played, they've gone to Notre Dame and scored 41, and they went to Arkansas and scored 45 last week. So that's the matchup. LSU's defense at home against Marcel Reed and a guy who continues to climb up those Heisman polls and odds and all that stuff. What happens in that matchup when A&M's offense is on the field?
Operator, won't you put me on through? Gotta save my love in the bedroom. Hurry up, gotta put me on the line. Gotta save my love in one more time. I'm calling my room. Brian Kelly lives down there. Go ahead, D-Bug.
Yeah, he does right now. Is this kind of a must-win? It may be crazy talk, maybe a crazy question, but are we entering must-win territory now for Brian Kelly?
Absolutely. When you look at their schedule the remaining way, they're going to be underdog a bunch of more times. If chalk holds up, I believe they're going to be 7-5. I don't know if Brian Kelly makes it to that. They got road trips to Alabama. They have to go to Oklahoma, or they get Oklahoma at home. And then also you got Arkansas in a rivalry game.
At Oklahoma.
This is a monster monster spot for LSU.
At Bama. At Bama next.
Jesus.
At Oklahoma. Now, they got Western Kentucky there.
Hilltoppers are no joke.
Hilltoppers, good
They
team.
Win last night for Hilltop.
Yeah, huge. Obviously, middle of the week football is good for all of us. Let's go to Hammer. Tone, what's the story of this game that maybe we haven't hit yet?
Yeah, I love this A&M team, and I love the A&M offense because they are so balanced. They can run the ball with that running back room. That's incredible. They can run the ball with Reed. They could throw the ball with Casey Concepcion and Craver on the outside. The defense, Steve was talking about how much the points the offense has scored on the road. They are on the road here at LSU. The defense gave up more than 40 at Notre Dame and more than 40 at Arkansas. So we'll see. I mean, the LSU offense has not been good, so they should be better on the road here. But, I mean, they got a guy on defense for A&M whose name's Cassius Howe. He's got 8 sacks. So he's going to be a first-round pick next season. They're the number 2 third-down defense in the country. I love A&M. I think they should win this one. It would be a huge upset for me if they did not. I think as a team, they're just very, very well-rounded.
All right, so we like A&M. They're undefeated. We've liked them since the beginning. We really like Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, we really like Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we start piecing these teams together. Alabama, we all really like, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Really like Vandy.
Really like Vandy.
Really
as well,
like 'em.
because we really like Bama.
Yeah.
So it's like it's one of those situations. It feels like the cream is starting to kind of rise to the top, but also it's college football. Fucking anything can happen.
Yep.
This weekend is one of those weekends where absolutely anything can happen. On that note about anything happening, James Franklin joining the game day set. Steve, your thoughts? I thought everything I told James Franklin on the set is exactly how I felt about it. I just want him to know about it. I want everybody to know about it. You sitting up here is fucking wild. Okay, I wasn't able to say that, but I do appreciate you just getting into the pocket here and just sitting right in the middle of what could be incredibly awkward because he has no idea what we're asking. I was not given a question to ask. I was not told. Now, do I want to bury a guy that is spending his Saturday morning with us with an asshole question? Probably not. But he did not know what was going to happen there. It's live television. Anything could take place. If you listen to the Penn State people, they're like, well, it was really nice of you guys to do for James Franklin, okay? How come we didn't hear a lot of stats being said? I saw the graphics of a lot of these stats. Didn't hear you guys saying anything about, hey, you never won one for us, even though 2016 Big Ten championship there. So I think Penn State people are a little emotional. What were your thoughts on James Franklin joining us? And what were your thoughts on him saying, yep, we're just going somewhere else to win a national championship? He feels like he's even more energized for the future of coaching. Is that your takeaway from our convo with him? And what did you think of it as a whole, Steve?
First off, I thought it was extremely brave to do.
Agreed.
People, you know, to your point, he's still getting up on the desk. He's still getting to Athens, Georgia, you know, in the middle of nowhere when you're talking about Big Ten country and all that. And to show up and do what he did is not an easy thing to do. I don't care what the questions are. To be, you know, humbled like that and fired, you know, before a team meeting, you know, the Sunday before, and to go through those losses, you know, at UCLA, at home against Northwestern, to see him walk off the field, you know, what looked to me like he knew that was the last time, like it was going down, to come back the next Saturday and stand up in front of there. I mean, Pat, you're in the middle of the interview. I'm on the side. I'm trying to take it all in. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in that thing because I think people were really that interested in what he had to say. And the coming out of that, the want of him to coach again was pretty evident. So he's going to the list is only going to get bigger and longer for him to possibly be a candidate of. So I don't think he's going to be out of the coaching for a long time at all. I think he's going to jump right back in.
Massive respect for him going out there and doing it. Like, even you guys got to even think that's incredible. Like, AQ Shipley, Penn Stater, okay?
Yeah.
I saw your name on the wall there a couple of times whenever we were there.
How'd it look?
I thought it looked great. I thought especially the Remington Award trophy that's up there, really, you know, symbolic of greatness at Penn State, which is how I think the Penn Staters view it, right? Like, Penn State people are sick of being third, fourth in the Big Ten. We want to win national championships. We are putting the money up to win the national championship. We want to win the big games, let alone losing at home in front of a $700 million renovated stadium that somehow still has 112,000. It feels like the expectations of that place are to win a national championship, but you guys haven't been there in a long, long time, which I think a lot of people are saying on the counter side of that. It's like your guys' expectations aren't really realistic. So what is your kind of takeaway?
I think the biggest thing was, first of all, it was very admirable that he went down there. I mean, obviously that's not an easy thing to do, but I think whenever you look at what Penn State is expecting, I think 5 years ago, pre-NIL, pre-transfer portal, you're sitting there in 10-2, you probably accept that and you feel pretty good about it, right? But the fact is that they put the amount of money that they put back into this roster and kept everybody from going other places. I think that was the issue. The expectations were preseason number one. So many people had them preseason winning the national championship. And okay, you lose the game to Oregon, that's fine. But you gotta come back the next week and you lose to UCLA, who hadn't won a game all year, and then you lose to Northwestern, which you just can't accept.
That's what the Penn Staters were saying to the entire segment on Game Day. I don't know if you kept up with the internet reaction. Obviously, I do. I live in that world. It's a tough world to be in, but I have to be in it for the gig. This guy, just let him come up here and redo his entire image. It's like, I don't think we were doing that. We were just kind of getting an opportunity to talk to a guy that's in a very unique situation. I mean, this guy, very good football coach, has built, I think what I said to him about you guys, like 10 years from now, you will look back on James
I said that to you last week. I mean, I think everybody will be very grateful for what he did for that program and where it was when he took it over and where he brought it to.
But in the moment right now, we're not in that time. Right We are not in that time right now. We will be in the future. But who do they get, Steve? Who's the right fit? Obviously, everybody says Matt Rule. Matt Rule was on our show last week. He's like, I'm committed. We can build a powerhouse here. We do, which obviously, it is what it is. It is college ball. But it's like, that's really the only name now at this point. Sig signing, and then other people, is he a fit? Are they not a fit? Other people potentially not wanting to leave. Like, it's a pretty crazy time right now in the head coaching search, I'd assume, for multiple people, including adding Florida into this.
Yeah, I just look at Penn State. If they were going to pull the trigger there, you have to think they have a plan. Right? I mean, Pat Kraft's too good and been around too long to not have a plan. I mean, you hear Coach Saban talk all the time. He talks about getting, coordinators leaving. He always had a list. He always had a couple guys. I've heard athletic directors talk about it. So as after the Oregon loss, you could sort of feel this, hey, we missed a monster opportunity against a top 10 team, which has been the crux of Franklin's tenure. So I don't know. It seems like it's pretty tight to the vest with all that's going on and all the money that they're spending. There has to be a plan that they are keeping pretty tight to the vest.
Yeah, we shall see. It'll all work out. It'll
or
all,
won't.
What?
Or won't.
I think if you have
somebody.
I think if you have that much money for a roster that they're going to continue to have, we will assume they're always going to have good players. I think. In this modern world that we're in.
They will.
A lot of NFL talent.
I think they'll always have good players. So does that make them like a champion? I don't know. But I think they will be like, I think whoever gets in there will have a good team. Like, I think they will be a good team. I don't think they're going into shitter. Okay?
They've been a good team. They've been a good team. They need to win a national championship, don't they?
Yeah, like next 4 years between Michigan, Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State. Who do you think is out of those four? Like, I have more faith in bingo. I'm not even including Indiana because they're already going to win the Natty this year. But, like, add Indiana.
Other than Indiana.
Yeah, other than Indiana. Or you can add them in here because I forgot about them for sure.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Nah,
you never forget about Mendoza.
Mendoza for Heisman, baby. My jersey's in the mail. But still, like, out of those schools, like, no doubt about it, I would rank Penn State last.
Jeez.
And then the other ones having a better chance just the next 4 years.
And that's because of what has happened over the last 10 years.
Yes.
Okay, that is what you're going with. And obviously all those places have cash as well.
And they're losing every recruit right now. Yeah. Every recruit is decommitting. So Terry Smith, his job as interim is, hey, how can we get this culture back to where at least it semi was, and how do we keep some of these recruits? Or you got to make a splash hire to tell these recruits, hey, let's come back.
I would not be worried about the decommitments because whatever coach you get, you're going to get there.
Those guys flip.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
true.
none of this matters right now.
Yeah, portal.
It's totally different now, too, NIL. It's just going to be money. I really believe that. When you look at and hear what coaches talk about, as long as you have the money, you're going to get the players.
Which goes back to they're going to have a good team.
Always going to have a good team.
Yeah, always going to have a good team because the alumni are like, we would like to fucking win a national. It would be cool if we were able to go to these places and just kind of flex our shit to everybody. But instead, you start rattling off names. What if IU?
All those schools have money. Like, I get money's a thing, and Penn State has a lot of money. Indiana has a lot of money. Oregon has a lot of money. Michigan has a lot of money. Ohio State has, like, everyone's got a lot of money now. Sorry, not everyone. The top billing teams have a lot of money. And so, like, sure, you can. It does come down. Like, I completely agree with you, Steve. It does just come down to money when it comes to players. But at the same time, if everyone's money's kind of similar, then what's the next best thing? Chance to win a championship, and Penn State
is not in the top 3 when we're just talking about the Big Ten.
Think about this sales pitch. You could be the one that brings the national championship to Penn State.
True.
You could be a hero here forever.
And I think they're top 3 in draft picks, by the way. Yeah. Putting people in the NFL in the James Franklin era, by the way. Like, they put people in the pros, and they all are killing it in the pros.
Good players, yeah.
Why don't you guys just sign John Gruden and get over it?
I hope they don't steal Jim Mora from.
I wouldn't hate that.
I said
right.
Mora would be an awesome hire if he was to go to Penn State. I said John Gruden on game day, and I was not planning on saying that. Like, that was not like a planned line. Doesn't Gruden want to coach again? How come we're not saying Gruden's name? He would be a great college football coach.
Guy with a pulse, you mentioned.
Jeff Brom.
He's coaching soon, too, by the way.
Who's that?
John Gruden.
Where?
John Gruden versus Jay Gruden in the Hula Bowl.
Oh, sweet.
Excuse me?
Okay.
All right, maybe that's an audition to get back in the game.
Yeah, legit.
Can we go?
I just see him in the SEC, John Gruden. I don't know why, but I just see him as an SEC coach.
Him in Lagway?
But then down in Florida, there's a lot of names that are associated with that Florida job.
True.
A lot of names. Steve, who ends up with that job?
Oh, put me on the spot, huh?
We know who they want.
Yeah, we
Tim
know who
Tebow?
Stevie's gonna
Oh
say.
yeah, reading stuff this week, I thought it was interesting. They know Lane is the guy that everybody wants. People have talked, he's the modern day Spurrier, and you look what Spurrier did there, and he's still the god. So, from what I read, they're gonna make Lane say no twice. So that just means more millions of dollars. I mean, he's up there, but now you're talking about $11, $12 million, and he's gonna say no. That's a tough deal.
That's not the big separate. Obviously, the millions for him is obviously a big deal, but the finances for the team, right? Like, that is the different ballgame. Like, everybody says Florida has big NIL, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if they're aligned correctly, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
You got ADs, you got donors, you whatever. Like that, they just need to get on the same page, and that's when you have a school that monstrous and cares that much. That's where I feel like their problems have come. So alignment and
assignment,
obviously money,
technique. The why did
getting redone too? 2-year project.
Why did Governor DeSantis? Who's he trying to pluck? What's he doing? There's something.
He was trying to pluck Sig.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, he was trying to get Signetti. Governor DeSantis quote tweeting things saying, "Hey Sig, you'd love Florida down here." It's like, hey Gov. We don't need that.
He doesn't like Florida.
Okay, then he signs $93 million deal. He's like, no, thank you to Florida. I like the fall up here. But whenever you talk about the governors getting involved and trying to figure out the fucking state school team, it's like, hey, they're going to figure it out down there at some point. I hope they do, because this bad boy is awesome whenever it's like kind of in. And
no doubt.
It's a special time. All right, we appreciate the hell out of you, Steve. I'll see you down in Nashville.
Sounds good. No pressure for AQ, but the Colts are the best offensive line in the league now.
Agree. This isn't a cumulative rankings that we do, though, Steve. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stanford Steve.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak, let them look right at you.